Russia is probably the only country on Earth where oil flows abroad by the tanker, yet gas trickles at home by the drop. Gas stations are closing, drivers queue for hours, and a limit of 20 liters per person has replaced the good old full tank. Officials repeat their favorite mantra: everything is under control. Sure, under control are panic, fumes, and collective irritation. The so-called energy superpower now looks like a kitchen without matches. Plenty of food, but no fire. They blame it on seasonal factors or temporary difficulties. But the only constant is the empty pump. People joke that all the gas has been mobilized to the front, while citizens are told to refuel with patriotism instead. On TV you see record exports and cheerful anchors. At the pump, silence and diesel smell. Russia sells oil to the world and teaches its own drivers the art of staying put. Welcome to the oil paradise, where everything burns except the low fuel light. Every August, Russia suddenly discovers that harvest season is here. Again. Tractors roll out, vacationers head home, and, what a shock, fuel demand rises. This happens every single year, like autumn following summer. But the government acts as if it's a new natural disaster. Officials speak of an unexpected surge in consumption. Unexpected? It's as predictable as snow in January. The pattern repeats endlessly. Limited supply, rising prices, and ministers with surprised faces. Filling up now means rationing 20 liters per car, as if gas were caviar. The headlines shout, "No reason for panic," while the drivers quietly panic anyway. Business raises prices because it can, and bureaucrats ignore it because they can too. The irony is painful. A nation that fuels half the planet cannot fill its own tanks. Each time, after the crisis fades, officials promise to prepare better next year. Next year always comes. Preparation never does. The only thing that increases on schedule is the absurdity and the price per gallon. If there's a fuel crisis anywhere in Russia, Crimea feels it first. The lines at gas stations have turned into tourist attractions. Vacation selfies now feature not beaches, but pumps. The local government capped prices at 70 rubles per liter, roughly 75 cents. Yet stations sell for more. Bureaucrats say it's under control, which in Russia usually means getting worse. Drivers share survival tips: how to cross the peninsula on 20 liters, which stations might still have gas, and when the delivery trucks arrive, if they arrive. Some even joke about selling gas as souvenirs, made in Crimea. The symbolism writes itself. A peninsula annexed for greatness now stands in line for fuel. The bridge still stands, the slogans still echo, but the tanks are empty. When promises travel faster than gas deliveries, even patriotism starts to sputter. At this point, the only thing that burns steadily is the irony. On the stock exchange, gas prices break record after record. Traders cheer, drivers swear. Production has dropped by roughly 10%, from about 123,000 tons a day to barely 100,000. The ministry calls it scheduled maintenance. Citizens call it what it is: shortage. The charts look wonderful. Arrows point up, profit climbs, reports sparkle with optimism. Meanwhile, people drive in circles searching for an open pump. Every August is a surprise, even though the calendar has been around for centuries. Economists debate margins. Motorists debate survival routes. Russia's economy loves graphs that rise while its cars stand still. And the most reliable export these days isn't fuel, it's excuses. Each crisis is renamed temporary, each delay a technical adjustment. But the only technical reality that matters is that the nozzles click empty. The oil giant once taught the world how to drill. and forgot how to deliver. The superpower runs on paperwork instead of gas. The fuel drought spreads like a slow-moving storm. First the Far East, then Siberia, now Moscow and St. Petersburg. 1 out of every 50 gas stations sits dry. In Crimea, half of them are closed. Some regions ban sales in portable canisters. Apparently, freedom itself is flammable. Governors line up on state TV to insist there's no shortage, which is exactly how you know there is. People treat refueling like a scavenger hunt. Apps, rumors, telegram maps, anything to find that mythical station with actual gas. It's not panic, it's logistics, Russian style. The country is huge, the fuel small, and the excuses infinite. Talk of ration cards no longer sounds like nostalgia, more like rehearsal. Ironically, Russia's vast geography now measures the scale of its dysfunction. From the Pacific coast to the Moscow Ring Road, the empire that powers others can't power itself. Only the memes remain abundant, the one commodity nobody can restrict, tax, or export. Deputy Prime Minister Novak went on TV smiling calmly, calling it a minor shortage. That's like calling a blackout romantic lighting. In Russia, euphemisms are policy. Explosions become pops. Crashes become hard landings. And now endless gas lines are temporary congestion. Governors tell people not to panic, which, in Russia, is the surest way to start panic. While officials talk, drivers sit for hours in their cars, praying the pump doesn't run dry. On screen, the map glows green. In real life, engines stall. The local issues now stretch across 11 time zones, yet Moscow insists it's all manageable. The state's favorite crisis tool isn't logistics, it's linguistics. Rename the problem, and it magically disappears. On paper. But the empty pumps remain. The smaller the word, the bigger the disaster. Minor shortage has joined the National Dictionary next to under control. Both mean the same thing. Brace yourself. It's about to get worse. When the system breaks, blame the drones. They've become Russia's universal scapegoat, the Swiss Army knife of excuses. Ukrainian UAVs, officials claim, have hit refineries and disrupted supply chains. It's true there were attacks, but wasn't the whole country covered by impenetrable air defense? Apparently that too is under scheduled maintenance. Now every fire, every delay, every missing gallon of gas becomes a result of drone activity. Convenient, isn't it? Drones don't talk back, don't ask questions, and can't file reports. The logic is perfect. The less gas you have, the more patriotic you must feel. But the truth is simpler. This crisis isn't just about drones. It's about planning, corruption, and an aging infrastructure running on Soviet nostalgia. The drones may hit targets, but bureaucracy keeps missing the point. If accountability were a refinery, it would have exploded years ago. The real enemy isn't in the sky, it's on the ground, behind a desk. If someone mapped all the refinery fires, it would look like Christmas in hell. Ryazan, Komi, Kuban, Volgograd, Syzran, Afipsky. Burning dots across half the country. Some plants cut output, others shut down completely. The press releases always sound identical. The situation is under control. The only thing under control is the fire itself. Officials juggle numbers. 41% of refining capacity affected. What that actually means, no one explains. Each explosion tears another hole in the illusion that oil automatically equals stability. Every fire means another week of dry pumps and rising prices. Firefighters extinguish flames while economists light new ones with press statements. These temporary incidents have turned permanent. On paper, everything is contained. In real life, the crisis spreads faster than smoke. If this keeps up, the next patriotic campaign might be Pedal for the Motherland. After all, bikes don't burn, and you can't rename a flat tire planned maintenance. Moscow's crisis manual hasn't changed since the Soviet Union. Freeze prices, ban exports, form a committee, declare victory. When that fails, import what you supposedly have in abundance. Russia, the self-proclaimed energy superpower, now buys gas from Belarus, China, South Korea, and even Singapore. It's like Texas importing barbecue sauce from Canada. Officials call it a temporary solution, which in Russia means permanent until the next crisis. Price controls look good on TV, but destroy incentives. Why sell at a loss? So stations stop selling altogether. Economics doesn't care about patriotic speeches. For now, imports will patch the hole. But duct tape isn't repair. It's denial. Real reform would mean transparency, investment, and accountability. 3 words allergic to Russian bureaucracy. So the cycle repeats. Ban, boast, buy, repeat. The Kremlin doesn't solve crises. It learns to narrate them beautifully. It's the one industry still running at full capacity. The government promises that by the end of October, everything will stabilize. Maybe, but in Russia, stability often means standing perfectly still while everything around collapses. The war drags on, drones keep coming, refineries burn, and people keep paying. Not with money, but with patience. The real cost of war arrives slowly. Rising prices, longer lines, higher taxes, blocked websites, slower internet. Every new restriction feels small until you add them up. Today it's gas. Tomorrow it's freedom of movement. The country that sells oil to the world is running out of air at home. Instead of solving problems, the Kremlin just renames them. Words are cheaper than repairs. People adapt. They drive less, speak quieter, expect nothing. Oil still flows, propaganda still glows, but trust has evaporated. In the end, every Russian pays for this war, not in rubles, not in slogans, but one drop at a time, usually at the pump.